Good day, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm by name Obele Chinelm Confidence, a first year law student in Maduka University. And here I'll be summarizing the book titled The Leader Who Had No Title by Robin Sharma. The first part of this book introduces us to the main character, Blake Davis, who told us little about his background. He described his mom as the kindest person he'd ever met, and his father was the most determined person. Blake described how his parents had shaped him in many ways until they were killed. Growing up, Blake was a good kid. Even his grandfather described him as a heart on two legs. Blake had lost all his ethics when his parents was killed, and his life became stuck. Finally, he decided to enlist in the army because it seemed like a good idea to help him feel a sense of belonging. But instead, this enlistment traumatized him due to the constant nightmare he had about wars and his friends getting killed. His love for books made him work at a bookshop, but due to his negative attitude, he wasn't doing so well at the store. When most people despised him at work, his customers seemed to like him. It was at the same bookstore that his miracle showed up when he least expected it. The chapter 2 of the book, Leader with No Title, my meeting with a leadership mentor. During one of Blake's sad days or dull days at work, he met a man by name Tommy Flame who had transferred to his store, that is Blake's store, and claimed to have known Blake's dad. It was also in this chapter that Tommy introduced the LWT philosophy. One of the key points in this chapter is the less you care about receiving the stuff most of us care about at work, the more you receive it. Tommy tells Blake that he does not need a title to become a leader, that he just needs to be a living being. And at the end of this chapter, Tommy tells Blake to meet him on the Monday morning for a meeting. And he had promised Tommy that he's going to share the secrets that he will learn on that day with everyone. The chapter 3 of this book, The Sad Cost of Mediocrity and the Spectacular Rewards of Leadership Mastery. Tommy revealed the LWT, like what the LWT stands for. It means lead without a title. This chapter introduces us to a lot of key points. Also here, Tommy introduced the 10 human regrets and the 10 human victories to Blake. As you can see, I listed 5 of the 10 human regrets and the 10 human victories. I won't be saying much of them because of time, but you can take your time to go through them later. The 10 human regrets tells us about when we reach our last day and what we expect from it. It's very easy to fail. Success comes with a price we have to pay. And at the end of this book, Tommy assured Blake that he was going to take him to the place of his dreams, and he was going to help him achieve his dreams. Blake had two choices he was going to make: whether he was going to choose the first grave, that is the 10 human regrets, or whether he was going to choose the higher road. The first was going to lead him into a form of living hell, that's the 10 human regrets, while the second was going to lead him to the place of his dreams. It was then that he knew the choice he'd make and he had to make. Chapter 4 is the first leadership conversation that Blake had. You need no title to be a leader. We'll be moving over to the first leadership teacher, Anna. Anna had also lost her parents in a car accident and when she was just a little girl and had lived with her grandmother. Anna's grandmother raised her, and this chapter tells us that they were very poor. Before we dive into the acronyms that was used in this chapter, we'll look at some key points. The first key point is success doesn't just happen because someone stays line up. Success, both in business and personal, is something that something that is consciously created. Another key point we're looking at is it's impossible to build a tribute to success on a foundation of excuses. That is, we cannot want to succeed, but in everything we do, have excuses for them. We'll also be looking at the natural power, the 4 natural powers that Anna introduced to Blake to help him understand how to be a leader with no title. As you can see, I've listed the 4 natural powers on the screen, so please take your time to go through them. We're moving over to the acronyms. Image was the acronym introduced to Blake in this chapter. The first, that is I, means innovation. The importance of innovation, that is making the day better than yesterday. We should be a visionary, like we should see into the future in a business landscape where most people are stuck in the past. We should not be afraid of crumbling our points, our neutrals. We should take the risk. The acronym M stands for mastery. Committing ourselves to mastery at what we do, mastery at what we craft, no matter the craft. Here, Anna encouraged him to be FMOB. That is the first, the most, and the only, and the best. A stands for authenticity. Here, under it, like it tells us that we should be who we are and say what we feel, because those who mind don't matter and those who matter don't mind. The G stands for guts. You need to have guts. You need to have huge toughness and big guts, and you need to be wildly courageous if you want to be a leader. We should not shy out. We should not be timid. We need to have strong boldness. Finally, the E stands for ethics, and it's here that many leaders cut corners. They are corrupt, they cut corners, they go for the cash grab instead of working for it. Ethics tells us that we should be very honest, we should be ferociously humble, and encourages us that integrity always leads to beautiful rewards, which is also true. Because of time, I've spent most of my time on this acronym, and Anna, you think Anna. To the next leadership conversation, Sunderland Times build great leaders. Blake was quite excited about his next meeting. His next meeting was with a Sky champion. His name was Ty Bond. He was now the store owner. Tyle's goal was to share the second leadership principle with Blake, and it was stated in 5 simple words that Sunderland Times built great leaders. He stated that new condition calls for a different technique, and the single best technique you can apply to it is lead without a title. Ty used kind as an instrument, a key of explanation, to explain how Sunderland Times build great leaders. He introduced the 80/20 rule, meaning 80% of your results come from 20% of your activities. SPARK was the acronym that was introduced to Blake to help him apply Sunderland Times build great leaders. Leaders principle of the lead without a title philosophy. The S stands for speak with candor. He says here that leading without a title has so much with being pristine, that is truth filled, a good communicator. So we should always be truth filled. We should over communicate with our teammates, over communicate with our suppliers, over communicate with our customers. We should also learn to have good listening skills. We should listen intensively to how each of them feels, their problems, their ideas too. We should not neglect the ideas because it can also help in the development of the organization. It can also strengthen your relationship. Like if one of them sees that you put his idea into consideration or into practice, he will be motivated, he will be encouraged. P stands for prioritize. With all the turbulence, it's so easy to get disconnected from our mission, vision, values, and goals. When things are falling apart, there's a tendency to be pulled by distraction. But Ty is encouraging us to stay centered upon on what is important, to focus on the best and neglect the rest. A stands for adversity, great opportunity. Every setback carries with it an even greater opportunity. Every cause has a corresponding blessing, and for every dream that dies, a better one can come to life. And adversity can actually be a tool to help you to soar to even greater heights and achievement and happiness. The K stands for kudos. Kudos will always celebrating yourself and celebrating others. It involves being inspirational and uplifting in a world that all too often celebrates the worst of things. It will remind you to shine a light on people. Kudos will help you remember the people that need to be appreciated for even the smallest things that they do in the face of adverse and stressful times. We should go, Ty tells us in this acronym K, to go through every day of the rest of our life, to be one of those rare individuals that encourages the effort of others, who look for what is good in people, and who applaud even the smallest positive acts that they do. Even when most people think that the leadership is about correcting and criticizing others when they are doing things wrong, but that's not true. Ty tells us that real leadership has so much to do with applauding others when they are doing things right and even when they are doing things wrong. We're moving over to the chapter 6, that's the third leadership conversation, being the deeper your relationship, the stronger your leader. Tommy encouraged Blake that small daily improvements over time leads to stunning results. Change is always the hardest thing at the beginning, but it only gets easy. Jackson Chan was a close friend of Tommy and was Blake's next leadership teacher. Jackson was a gardener who had gave up his CEO title a few years back. Jackson's whole life has been revolved around gardening. The deeper your relationship, the stronger your leadership. Here, Jackson introduced his own acronym to help Blake remember the powerful rules. Human. H stands for helpfulness. Business is all about helping, doing more that you are paid to do. Be helpful. Commit yourself to becoming the most helpful person you know. The U represents understanding. To build world-class relationship, you are not only needed to be very helpful, but be mastery at understanding people. Deep listening, speak less and listen more. The M stands for mingle. It involves networking, connecting with your teammates and customers. People love doing business with people they like. Find out their worries, how they are feeling. Drink coffee with stockholders. Don't just differentiate yourself or put yourself to yourself. A stands for amuse. Most of us think work is to be serious, means to be serious, and if we laugh and have fun, we'll be wasting time and being unproductive. Fun makes you engaged in what you're doing, make you want to collaborate. And when people are enjoying themselves at work, it lowers stress level. Finally, the N stands for nurture. Be awesomely nice. Being nice isn't being weak. Do not confuse kindness with weakness. Balance your being compassionate with being courageous. Moving over to the fourth leadership conversation. To be a great leader, first become a great person. Blake's next and final leadership mentor or teacher was Jet Brisley, a certified massage therapist. He encouraged Blake that greatness on the outside begins with being a leader. Lead yourself first. Who you become is far more important than what you own. Shine was acronym introduced by Jet to Blake to help awaken his inner leader and grow his internal life every day. S will remind you to see clearly. Don't see situations through the eyes of fear. See it through the lenses of opportunity. Real leadership involves breaking through the limits of your mind so you can step into the highest strength of your spirit. He introduced Blake to the 7 fundamentals of personal leadership. That is learning, affirmation, visualization, journaling, goal setting, exercise, and nutrition. He explained all these points to Blake and explained how they are going to help him reach his leadership potentials or goals. The head remind you that health is wealth. Stay physically strong by exercising. When you really start to believe in your natural leadership power and how awesome you truly are, your behavior around your health will improve dramatically. The I stands for inspiration matters. You need to feel your well of inspiration every day because challenges of life will drain it every day. Listening to music is one of the best ways for a huge level of inspiration. The N stands for neglect, not your family. A solid foundation at home sets you up for a strong and solid result at work. Feeling cared for and loved by family is a powerful acceleration from leadership success. The E finally stands for elevate your lifestyle. Do something every day to improve your lifestyle. A beautiful lifestyle is a beautiful thing to experience. Finally, we'll be concluding this book. At the end of the book, we learned that Tommy had died of cancer, and at the funeral, Tony had instructed Anna to hand over a package to Blake containing an apology and a gift, which was apparently Tommy's Porsche car. We readers have been encouraged and advised to spread leadership power. Even the smallest group of committed and innovative citizens can change the work, just as Tommy did. We should not waste our last days doing something that will not be of benefit to the world. We should use it wisely. Tommy had used his last days wisely. He used it to spread the leadership gospel to Blake, and Blake is encouraging us to also spread the leadership gospel to others. So our last days will be known for what is good and not for what is bad, or will be known for what is encouraging and beneficial to the society.